Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm here to make a video for Crealies. Crealies is a Dutch company that sells both stamps, dies and stencils, amongst other things. And just to start you off, I have some nice information for you. Starting today, on the 24th of November, it's going to be happy shopping days for 3 days. On their website www.crealies.nl. You can go there for more information. It's going to be a 3-day happy shopping days, 24th, 25th and 26th of November. And you know what? On the 26th of November is my final day, because I'll be turning 50 then. So it's a sort of a hurrah for me as well in this video, I suppose. Well, that's it. Happy shopping days. But let's see if I can get you through making a card with some of the new releases from Crealies that has come this fall. Perhaps these aren't all new releases, but it's a show and tell of how many nice dies and wonderful things they've got. Just going to keep it there. So there are some Decorate XL dies, Inside or Out dies, Crealies XXL dies, and you have some stitches on some of them, and you have perhaps a double stitching on some other. Here are some examples of what these talented design team members have made, and if I'm going to turn it over, there are some more on the edge and deco strips dies, parts dies, extra dies, Crealies XXL and Extreme labels and tags dies. You have them all there. Crealies silhouettes dies, and I'll be working with that one today. Crealies bits and pieces, I'll be using perhaps something of these or perhaps something similar to these. And here we have some masks and more mini stencils. So there are a lot of nice geometric patterns at Crealies. So let's get started, shall we? So what I had to play with was, for example, this one. I didn't use this one, I'm sure, but this was a new lovely stamp that I saw. I'm going to show it up stamped to you so you can see it better. It's called CLMG05, and it says, "Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they are always there." And it's a lovely star circle around it. And then I've gone ahead using these stamps just to create a sort of a pattern piece of paper. So it's CLBP50, and it has got some hearts. I mean, I have stamped with this, so I'm not sure if you can see it properly enough. Here's a CLBP71, and it has got some splotches. CLBP95, honeycomb. And these are my words, so perhaps they aren't called exactly as I see them right now, mind you. CLBP04, some more splotches. I mean, you have this and you have that, so it's a more tight and a more loose version there, and it's a beautiful sort of array or striped thing. Number 11 it's called. And then I also have this on the edge die. It's called CLOTE 29, CLOTE, and it has got a double stitch, and it's going to give me a nice looking top for my card. And here are the birds, I believe, CLSH01. And then I have a background stamp. It says CLBG07. The background stamp, and here's an older one with some text to it. I just wanted to show it to you. CLBG01. And then this is my new favorite for sure. I mean, I really like this one. It's a CLN XXL70 Crealies XXL. Beautiful die with a small sort of a scallop pattern to the edge there. So let's put these back to the box so I can have some workspace free here. And let's see, I'll be making let's say a Z-fold card today, which I usually do nowadays. I do like making those upright Z-fold cards, and I'll be working with the leftover piece, having cut out a pair of birds. So I've put the birds here just so you can see them on the background. You can see that birds are going to cut out really nicely. It's a set of birds, and I'm thinking these two could be friends. But instead of going for the die cut piece, I just wanted to use the mask or the stencil leftover piece from it. So I'm going to use the negative of those birds, aren't I? And here you can see that I've just done a little bit of irregular stamping here and there. And just by putting it here, and I have prepared it with some tape, as you can see, and I just played around with it and just sort of looked for where I could have things. And just look at that. I actually managed to put some eyes to the birds, and still I'm able to see a little bit of the patterns over there. So I'm going to start off with that. I'm just going to take these bits and pieces away. And I'm thinking it might be best if I'm quiet while I do this, but on the other hand it's going to be a boring video if I'm going to be all that quiet, I'm thinking. So let's see if I could do something. I'm just going to peel these away, you see. So what I did on this piece of paper also was that having taken the birds off, I actually sooted on some blue ink. I believe it was distress ink, with a brush like this. I do like using these brushes. I like them a lot. So now I have to pay attention to where I'm going to put this, because this is going to stick to the paper pretty quickly. So I think I'd rather actually put it on the table and just hope for the best while I'm placing it down with the eyes in their place. And I know that I'm going to have to cut away the excess, of course. So I'm just going to do that. But I wanted to show you that sometimes it's fun to make use of a pattern. And this is my first attempt doing so, actually. So I just felt like this was going to be a nice try to do something sort of clean and simple, but still a little bit fun and funky at the same time. So in order to be able to glue this one down, I need to put on some more tape. So I'm sorry for this tedious bit, but I'm not going to go overboard with the tape. I think I'll just put it here and there. This is rather a sticky tape, so I'm thinking you might be able to succeed with a few bits and pieces. The thing to remember, of course, that depending on the kind of paper you're using, I mean, in this case I'm using watercoloring paper, it does have a texture to it, so sometimes it does need more glue. So let's move ahead. I've got this one here. I die cut. I believe this is the biggest piece of that beautiful, beautiful small lace square. And I was thinking that I could put it here. So I'm just going to take these away yet again. So here we are, and I'm hoping I'll be able to place it in the center. Like so. And in order to be able to make a Z-fold card, an upright Z-fold card, you are going to need a backing piece to where you're going to put that flap through. I mean, this is what I'm going to talk to you about now. So here I've got a piece of paper that I have firstly folded in the center. I have then cut off the excess here, so I'll be ending up with this beautiful topper piece here with a stitch on the inside. And then I'll be putting this, but you know what I remembered now. You see, this is a little bit too short, so I really ought to lengthen it before I do anything else, because otherwise I think I'll just go mad. And the question is, perhaps I ought to... I'm just thinking it's nice to have it sort of pale. You have to excuse me, because I do need to get some paper. I just pause, I think. It doesn't work. Hello there again, it's me, Sari, and now I'm back to continue with this card. In my case, I actually had too short a piece of paper when I made this card, but still I'm thinking I'll be able to manage to rescue it, or just, you know, hide the defaults like this. So I just got a piece of paper that is going to cover up that piece there, and I think I'll just go for some glue, because then I have some moving, I have the possibility to move the paper a little bit to shift it in place. It's a bit different. It's a bit more difficult with that just a piece of tape, I think. I'm sorry for mumbling like this. It's easier with glue like this, and sometimes I actually go for my scoring board, because then I can put this in a corner and make sure that I'm getting everything as they are supposed to be. So let's see. We could start off again, and now I'm all gluey. So let's see, now I'm here, and I think I'll just put the backing piece of paper back to the front, but I need to remember not to put glue all over the square, but just like so, making a U with a little bit of flapping there. So I'll be able to put the tab in a little bit later. So I'm just going to put some glue here, a little bit there, and I'm making sure that I'm putting the glue inside a little bit further away, because I don't want it to go outside and just mess things up. So now that I'm checking for safety, really, just going to put this one at the bottom there, hoping it won't be showing from the other side, because I don't want that to peek out through there. So there we have it, and I'm going to give it some pressure, or apply some pressure, perhaps one should say. I think it's going to be all right. This is pretty quick drying glue, and I like this. So here we are, and now it's starting to get somewhere, isn't it? So in order to glue this one down, I think I'll just go for some glue pads, as I usually use. I like these a lot, and I'm thinking that just 3 or 4 of these ought to be enough. Sometimes you want to strengthen the adhesive, then you could of course add on some liquid glue on this if you wanted to. And now I'm trying to center it best I can, something like so, checking that the glue isn't poking at the back. And now I've come thus far. So what I've done here is I've scored a piece of paper and cut it out with a die from this set, which has got some double stitching. You could go with the 1 stitch, of course, also. And while I'm showing you these beautiful dies, there are sets with circles and squares and everything with the double stitching, and I do like those dies, I must say. So in order to make sure that the card is going to fold flat when you are sending it to somebody, you could just tuck the tab in like so, and just sort of eyeball it so you get it into the center. I'm not sure if I'm getting it there, but it could be all right. And mostly I just go for some glue. I know you can't see what I'm doing, I'm sorry. I just put some glue there, and then I'm going to press it against the card base like so. I need to hold it there for a second or two, and then usually I enforce it with a brad, a white brad or something. I could go for a blue brad if I really wanted to showcase this tab, but if I want to keep it neutral, I would recommend you to use a white brad. Just pierce a hole through first, and then I put a brad through. So in this case you are making sure that the card is going to fold flat if you're going to send it to somebody, but it's still going to work, and it's going to give a sort of an easel function to this card. So here we have it. And I think I'll just pause for a minute because I do want to show you what I did start off with when it came to working with these birds. So this is the first one I made, and I did actually just use a paintbrush to go around it and soot in some ink. You could of course put in a pair of white birds there, or depending on what colors you've got, you could put in birds that you have colored, let's say with watercolors, and this is what I've done here. So you could have lots of fun using the die cut piece into the negative, or just use it as it is on its own, let's say on a background that's going to be popped out of. And you could also put it in a circle. I mean, you could have lots of fun with these die cut pieces, I must say. And here are some examples of die cut pieces that I have used those double stitched dies to make, and that beautiful small lace bit there. And here is some examples of how it could look if you are using the big background stamp. I did use this with a stamping tool, and I did have a bit of a difficult time getting it there, but perhaps that has to do with the kind of ink I was using. I believe I used Distress Oxide ink in this case, because when I went ahead and stamped it with some Versamark and then poured on some golden embossing powder, it worked better, I must say. And first I think I did have a plan of going for something like this, and you could even put a round circle on top just to sort of frame it up. I mean, there are lots of fun things you could do with these dies and stamps for that matter. So moving ahead with that Good Friends Are Like Stars bit, I was thinking that I could just stamp it as I have done so, cut it apart, and I didn't want to do this before because I was afraid I'll be losing some of these. So I'll just cut it apart and trim the edges, of course, and just glue it down somehow with some liquid glue, I believe. Sort of try to lay it out as a brick wall. So these are really tiny, as you can see. So I'm not going to have that much white around the words. Just want to get that in my hands, or hand in this case. So there you are, always there. So I think it's nice to be able to cut apart word text stamps like this, so you can actually make your own layout with them. So here we are. And of course, by doing this, I'm missing out on the stars. I am. That could have been a nice feature, of course. That was what I was going for, really. But I just felt like using it like this. Or one could, of course, just punch it out, couldn't one? Let's see if I can find the proper size of the punch. You know what? This one actually works nicely. So if one wants to, one could make this into a sticker and just put it there in order to create something, a 3-layered effect. But I'm just going to see if I could make it work still. So let's see, Good Friends. I'm going to start off with the Good Friends bit there. Good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but they're always there. But you know that they're always there. I was thinking something like this. And then of course, when it comes to fiddly bits like this, one might be better off using a pair of tweezers. Let's see if I'll concur with that. But I'm just thinking, I'm not sure. Perhaps it's better just to use this right down there. I'm not sure. I think it sort of gives a light feel to this. And I do like, I mean, since these feel like, I mean, they're their own sentences, I just want to keep them separate. There's a lot of glue pouring out, so one doesn't need that much on a thin strip like this. I think I just clear my fingertips a little. And I think I'll just start with the one at the bottom, so I can space it out, and I've got too much glue here. And while I'm doing this, I'm just thinking that perhaps I ought to add on some rhinestones or something to make this pop a little bit more. Hang on. So the question is, how big and what color? Well, in this case I just got out the white ones. Let's see. There is some light blue, sort of like those. Actually, I'm going to go for these sort of sparkly ones. And then of course it's always a question of how to place them. I'm just thinking I want to create a triangle somehow, and I'm thinking that perhaps, let's see what else. And let's hope I can make these work with me, because sometimes they have a tendency to fly away and place themselves in various places. So that one is sticking there. And if I could go for a medium size there, could be nice. Just thinking there, there and there. It's going to be an obvious triangle, of course. Well, I think it's going to be alright. So here we are, an upright Z-fold card made with stamps and dies from the Crealies. I'm sorry about the background, it's a little bit, it's going into the white surface there, but I do sort of fancy, I did have an idea and I hope I actually made it through somehow. I do like making these upright Z-fold cards, as I have told you quite a few times now. But before I leave you, just want to remind you of those happy shopping days at Crealies, starting on the 24th of November, that is today, ending on Sunday, the 26th of November this year, 2017. Go to www.crealies.nl for more information. If you are placing an order over €25, you'll be getting a 20% discount. I'll sign off right now, saying that good friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but you know they're always there. And bye bye for now.